Hey there, everybody. This is Paul Bennett, and I'm doing my first input for my portfolio for interpreting media studies. Uh, I'm trying to do this more like a podcast style thing, because when we were given the assignment for our portfolio, what the brief was to go into detail about things we've learned in class and explore types of media. So I thought it'd be cool to while I'm reporting back on all the things I found in class that I found interesting and wanted to study on more, to also explore the radio side of media. So what I'll be doing is just recording a few things that we picked up on class and just putting them into my own words and just discussing what I think they mean. So this is my first try at just going through sort of like a podcast style way of what we learned in media classes. Might get a bit better as we move on. I've got a few friends that have studied communications, and I might get some people from inside the class who just want to talk about it, and I'll record them as well and put it out. Uh, what I have been, what I am using is Reaper. It's a bit of audio software that Mark, one of our tutors, suggested in another class. It's pretty easy to use, so I'm just giving it a try. So yeah, let's get into it. What I'm going to talk about today is audience theories. We learned it like a few weeks ago from when I'm putting this out, and yeah, I picked this because there's actually quite a bit to talk about, and they're quite interesting. Well, at least I think so. So audience theories, just a basic way of people trying to account for the way in which people make sense of a text or how they use a text. Um, each of the theories that I'm going to be talking about have come out of their own place in historical significance or like a certain cultural climate or context. So the first one we were told about, I think we only had Robin to teach us this day. It was in the 1960s. What they came up with the hypodermic method, and what the hypodermic method is it's basically here's the story and just throwing it at the audience. So they're just pushing it in, and what the theory assumes is that there's a direct and immediate effect on the audience. Uh, Much like propaganda, it also assumes that the audience is just passive and that it's just letting the text wash over them, that the audience isn't looking more in depth into what the text actually is. The next audience theory that we have was created in the 1970s, and it's called the uses and gratifications theory. It's not seen as like a single theory, but it's a body of different approaches as to why people would see media. So it gives them more specific gratifications than just the hypodermic method, which is rather broad. It comes in like four different steps. There's escapism, which is where people use text to partially cover one's senses. So it's just a way to get out of everyday life. Like you could go home and just watch absolute trash TV just to separate yourself from your job. You could go play a video game if you wanted to like get a sense of a different life. Another reason under the uses and gratifications theory is just personal relationships. It's where it's seen as people develop actual personal relationships that are created or just imagined between the audience member and the characters in the text. It could be like regarding certain celebrities or performers or the actual characters themselves. Uh, the third one under the uses and gratifications is the personal identity, where the people sort of create their own identity or base their appearance or the way they act on the media or text they choose to consume. So like dressing the way like a certain character does, or behaving in a way that you think is cool just because of what you've read in a text. And the last one under uses and gratifications is surveillance. It's where people are trying to gain an understanding of the world around them by consuming like a media text. The last audience theory I'm going to talk about is hegemonics. Hegemonics is based all around hegemony, which is the accepted way of thinking. The first theory under this one is the dominant hegemonic position. It's where the audience member recognizes and agrees with the Phil preferred meaning offered by the text. It's so they go to see the film to reaffirm their own beliefs or to just agree with the film. Opposite this is the oppositional hegemonic position. This is where the audience member they do understand the preferred meaning of the text, but they disagree with it due to their own beliefs or their own attitudes towards the subject. So they go to see the film to just disagree and think that it's a parody of what it's actually trying to show. There's also the negotiated hegemonic position, which is where the audience member they don't actively oppose any of the main theme in the text, but they don't also agree with it. They're sort of like the open-minded people, so they go in there willing to be swayed one way or another, depending on how they read the text. And lastly, we have the aberrant decoding. This is where the audience member reads the text in a completely unpredicted way, producing a deviant meaning of the text. So they're putting their own spin on things and just sort of making up their own beliefs that they can use the text to reinforce later. What all the audience theories have in common, besides the hypodermic one, is that they all assume that the audience is active and that they're actively searching to find meaning in a film or text. So that's about all we've got down for audience theories. So I think this went pretty well for my first attempt, my first input into my portfolio. So yeah, as I said at the beginning, I might try to get some other people on, if there's enough topics for us to talk about. I think this should be long enough, so about 6 minutes, so I'll probably keep them to this length, but if the topic's good enough, I could stretch that a bit further. So yeah, this is Portfolio Entry 1, Audience Theories in Media, all done. So yeah, I'll catch you guys next time.